Commander Hyanwu sat in his chair, staring at the same screens he had watched for 20 years. The monitoring station floated quietly in space, far from any planet or star. Around him, dozens of other aliens worked at their posts, checking instruments that never showed anything new. The Veltari commander had 6 eyes and blue skin that looked like metal. His people were good at watching and waiting, which made them perfect for this job. Every day, they monitored the ancient beacon network that stretched across the entire galaxy. Every day, the beacon stayed silent, just like they had for 50,000 years. Nobody knew who built the beacons. The aliens called them the architects because they seemed to design everything perfectly. The beacons were made from materials that nobody understood, using technology that was far beyond anything the current galaxy could create. They just sat there in space, waiting for something that never came. "Sir," called Neri from her workstation. She was young for a Velt, only 60 years old, with bright green markings on her arms. "I think something is wrong with beacon 7749. Hyanwu turned his main eyes toward her screen while keeping his side eyes on his own instruments. "What kind of wrong?" "It is showing energy readings. Very small ones, but they are there." The commander felt his heart skip a beat. In all his years of service, no beacon had ever shown any kind of activity. He moved to Nera's station, his forearms working quickly to check her readings. The numbers were real. Beacon 7749, located in a dead star system on the galaxy's edge, was sending out signals, weak signals, but definitely artificial. The mathematical patterns were too perfect to be natural. "Run every test we have," Hyanwu ordered. "Check everything twice. This cannot be real." But as the hours passed, the impossible became undeniable. The beacon was not just active, it was transmitting complex mathematical sequences that spoke of intelligence. Even stranger, it was coming from the Kepler 442 system, a place that had been destroyed by an exploding star 3,000 years ago. Word traveled fast through the consortium of worlds. Within a day, ships were racing toward Hyanwu's station. From across the galaxy, the most important scientists, military leaders, and politicians all wanted to see the impossible beacon for themselves. Dr. Minho arrived first. He was a saurian, one of the oldest species in the galaxy, with golden scales and wise yellow eyes. He had spent his entire long life studying the architects and their mysterious technology. "Show me everything," the old scholar said as soon as he stepped onto the station. Hyanwu led him to the main display room, where the beacon's signal played across giant screens. Minho studied the data with the intensity of someone who had waited centuries for this moment. "These are not random signals," Minho said quietly, "they are responses. Something is answering calls that were made 50,000 years ago." "But answering what?" Nuri asked. "The other beacons are still silent." Minho's eyes grew wide as he realized something. "No, they are not. Look at the quantum frequencies. The other beacons are receiving signals even if they are not transmitting yet. Something is talking to the entire network." As if his words were magic, alarms started ringing throughout the station. 3 more beacons had suddenly come alive, their signals lighting up displays across the monitoring center. Then 5 more. Then dozens. The pattern was clear once they mapped it out. Each active beacon sat near a dead world, planets that had once been home to thriving civilizations before disasters destroyed them. Wars, plagues, asteroid impacts, dying stars, the galaxy was full of graveyards, and something was visiting. Each one, whatever is sending these signals, has been traveling to every dead world in the galaxy, Hyanwu said, his voice full of wonder and fear. Dr. Minho nodded slowly. "But why? What could they be looking for among the ruins of dead civilizations?" The answer came from an unexpected source. Young technician Taman, who had been quietly analyzing the signal patterns, suddenly looked up from his workstation with excitement. "The signals contained biological markers," he announced, "genetic information suggesting carbon-based life forms." The room fell silent. Everyone knew that the architects were supposed to be energy beings or advanced computer minds. The idea that they might be flesh and blood creatures like the current galaxy's inhabitants changed everything. "There is more," Taman continued, his voice shaking with the importance of his discovery. "The genetic patterns match the base codes found in most of our species. It is as if whoever is sending these signals shares common ancestors with all of us." Dr. Minho stared at the data, his ancient mind working to understand the implications. "If this is true, then everything we believed about the architects is wrong. They were not gods or machines. They were ... They were like us." Outside the station's windows, more beacons began lighting up across the galaxy, each one marking another dead world, another civilization that had risen and fallen while something watched from the darkness, something that might have been watching over them all along, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Dr. Soyoung floated in her water-filled chamber aboard the research ship, her tentacles dancing across the control panels as streams of data flowed through her mind. The Aquarian scientist had spent her entire life studying dead languages, but the signals from the ancient beacons were unlike anything she had ever seen. The mathematical patterns are familiar, she reported to the team of scientists gathered around her tank, but they are arranged in ways that predate our oldest star maps by thousands of years. Commander Jin-Ho buzzed his wings nervously. The insect-like Zephyrian prided himself on logical thinking, but these signals made no sense. What about those biological markers that young Timon found? So Young's skin changed color to show her confusion. That is what troubles me most. The signals contain genetic codes that suggest carbon-based life, but everything we know about, the architect says they were energy beings or advanced machines. How can they be flesh and blood? The research vessel, Harmony's Edge, had been traveling toward the source of the strongest beacon signal for 3 weeks now. Every day brought new mysteries as more beacons across the galaxy came alive, each one transmitting the same impossible messages. Dr. Minho, the old Saurian scholar, studied the data with his experienced eyes. Look at this pattern, he said, pointing to the main display. The signals are not just random transmissions. They're mapping something. Mapping what? Asked Captain Wu Jin, who had joined them from the bridge. Dead worlds, Minho replied grimly. Every active beacon corresponds to a planet that once hosted life but is now empty. Worlds destroyed by wars, plagues, natural disasters, or dying stars. As if the universe wanted to prove his point, alarms suddenly echoed through the ship. Young analyst Timon rushed into the room, his fur standing up with excitement. Captains, doctors, 15 more beacons, just activated at the same time. They are forming a clear pattern across the entire spiral arm of the galaxy. The main screen changed to show a map of their galaxy. Bright dots marked each active beacon, and the pattern was unmistakable. The beacons formed a spiral that matched the galaxy's shape, but they only marked dead systems, places where civilizations had once thrived before being destroyed. It is like someone is creating a memorial, So Young whispered. A monument to every species that has ever died in our galaxy. But Captain Wu Jin noticed something else. The timing is too perfect. These beacons are not just remembering the dead, they are responding to something happening right now. Dr. Minho's scales turned pale as he realized what the captain meant. Something is visiting these dead worlds. Something that knows the history of every civilization that has ever existed. The implications were staggering. Whatever was sending the signals had been traveling through space for thousands of years, systematically visiting the graveyards of entire species. But why? What could they hope to find among the ruins? There is more, Timon said, his voice shaking. I have been analyzing the genetic markers in the signals. They do not just suggest carbon-based life, they suggest life that is related to all of us. Related how? Jin-Ho demanded. The base genetic codes match the fundamental patterns found in every species in the consortium. It is as if we all share common ancestors with whoever is sending these signals. The room fell silent as the scientists processed this information. The idea that all the galaxy's species might be related was revolutionary enough, but the thought that their common ancestors might still be alive was almost too much to believe. Young broke the silence. If this is true, then the architects were not mysterious gods or advanced machines. They were the first species, our parents, in a sense. But where have they been for 50,000 years? Captain Wu Jin asked. Why reveal themselves now? Before anyone could answer, the ship's communication system crackled to life. The voice that came through was speaking in a language that their translation computers did not recognize at first. Then, slowly, words began to form. Children of the stars, the voice said, sounding tired and ancient. We have been away for so long. We have watched from the darkness as you grew and learned and built your own civilizations. We are proud of what you have become. The entire research team stared at the speakers in shock. Someone was talking directly to them, someone who had been listening to their conversations. Who are you? So Young managed to ask. We are the ones who came before, the voice replied. We are the gardeners who planted the first seeds of life. Across this galaxy, we are your family, and we are finally coming home. The communication ended, leaving the scientists in stunned silence. Outside their ship, more beacons continued to activate across the galaxy, each one marking another step. In what appeared to be a massive homecoming, they are not visiting graveyards, Dr. Minho said quietly. They are visiting the graves of their other children, the civilizations that did not survive. They are mourning. As the research vessel continued toward its destination, the crew realized they were not just investigating mysterious signals, they were about to meet the parents of galactic civilization itself, beings who had been wandering in the void for eons, watching over their children from afar, and who were finally ready to reveal themselves. The galaxy was about to change forever. The Deep Space Probe Seeker had been traveling through empty space for 4 months, following the strongest beacon signal toward its source. Captain Wu Jin floated in his command chair, his gas-filled body rippling with nervous energy. In all his years exploring the galaxy, he had never encountered anything like this. Captain, his navigator Yunji called from her station, her skin glowing with bioluminescent patterns of excitement. I am detecting artificial structures ahead. multiple vessels, but they do not match any designs in our database. The main screen flickered to life, showing shapes emerging from the cosmic darkness. They were ships, but unlike anything the crew had ever seen. Some were massive, larger than space stations, while others were sleek and small. All of them bore the scars of countless battles and unimaginable journeys through time and space. "They look old," whispered Sensor Specialist J1, "very, very old." The ships were clearly damaged, held together by repairs made with materials from dozens of different star systems, hull plates from one species welded next to components from another. It was as if the builders had been traveling for so long that they had to fix their vessels with whatever they could find. Yet there was something beautiful about the fleet. Despite their battle scars and makeshift repairs, the ships moved with perfect coordination, like a dance that had been practiced for thousands of years. "They are changing course," Yunji reported, heading directly toward us. Captain Wujin felt an estranged calm wash over him. These were not invaders. Somehow, he knew that with absolute certainty. There was something familiar about the ships, as if they echoed some deep memory buried in his genetic code. Sir J1 said quietly, "They are sending a transmission." The message came through in a language that made their translation computers struggle. The ancient words seemed to be the root of all other languages, the original tongue from which every species' speech had evolved. Slowly, meanings began to emerge. "Children of the stars," the message began, and the voice sounded tired but filled with love. "We have wandered long in the darkness, watching over you from places you cannot imagine. We have seen you grow and learn and build wonders beyond our dreams. We are so proud of what you have become." The crew exchanged amazed looks. Someone was speaking to them like a parent speaks to their children. "We know you have questions," the voice continued. "We know you call us the architects, but that name is not correct. We did not architect anything. We simply planted seeds and watched them grow. We are gardeners, not gods." A single ship separated from the main fleet and approached Seeker. It was smaller than the others, but clearly very old. Strange symbols covered its hull, and Captain Wujin realized they were not decorations, they were memorials, names and dates marking the deaths of countless civilizations. "We request permission to come aboard," the voice said. "We have so much to tell you, and so little time." Within hours, the airlock between the two ships was connected. When it opened, a figure floated across the threshold that made the entire crew gasp in recognition. It was humanoid, bipedal, with features that seemed familiar yet alien at the same time. The being wore an environmental suit that looked like it had been repaired thousands of times. Its face was visible through a transparent helmet, showing skin that was weathered by cosmic radiation and eyes that held the weight of eons. "I am Duhayan," the being said, removing its helmet to reveal a face that was startlingly similar to the faces seen in the genetic memories of every species in the galaxy. "Captain of the vessel Eternal Wanderer. We have been waiting a very long time to meet you properly." Dr. Soyoung, present through quantum communication link, trembled as she processed what she was seeing. "You are the architects." Duhayan's weathered face showed what might have been a sad smile. "Not architects. We call ourselves human. We are the first children of a world that died long ago, forcing us to scatter our own children across the galaxy before we fled into the void." The revelation hit the crew like a physical blow. The mysterious builders of the beacon network, the advanced beings who had seeded the galaxy with life, they were refugees. Survivors of some ancient catastrophe who had saved others before saving themselves. "Your technology engineer," J1 said, studying Duhayan's equipment with fascination. "It is beyond anything we understand, yet it looks ancient." "Because it is ancient," Duhayan nodded. "We have been maintaining the same ships and equipment for 50,000 years, making repairs with whatever we could salvage from dead worlds. Our original technology was lost with our homeworld. Everything you see is held together by determination and love." Captain Wujin asked the question that everyone was thinking. "Where have you been all this time?" Duhayan's expression grew distant. "In the spaces between spaces, in pocket dimensions we created to hide from the thing that destroyed our world. We have watched over you from the shadows, proud of your achievements, mourning your losses, but forbidden by our own laws from interfering directly." "Then why reveal yourselves now?" Soyoung asked. The human's face became grave, and fear flickered in his ancient eyes. "Because the enemy that destroyed our world has found us again. And this time, we cannot face it alone. We need our children to help us fight for the galaxy we all call home." Outside, more human ships continued to emerge from hidden places, and the galaxy prepared for revelations that would change everything. The human ship that docked with Seeker was a wonder of impossible engineering. Captain Wujin studied it through the viewport, amazed by how it seemed to hold together through sheer willpower. The hull was covered in patches from 100 different worlds, and strange modifications showed repairs made during countless desperate situations. When the airlock finally opened, Duhayan floated across with movements that spoke of a lifetime spent in zero gravity. His environmental suit was clearly ancient, patched and repatched so many times that it was difficult to tell what the original material had been. Despite its age, the suit worked perfectly, protecting its wearer from the harsh void of space. "Welcome aboard," Captain Wujin said, trying to hide his amazement at meeting one of the legendary architects. Du Hayan removed his helmet, revealing a face that was both alien and familiar. His features were weathered by cosmic radiation, and his hair was white from centuries of exposure to space. But his eyes held a warmth that reminded every crew member of their own parents. "Thank you for receiving us," Du Hayan said, his voice carrying the weight of eons. "We have waited so long for this moment." Dr. So-young's image flickered to life on the main screen, transmitted from the research vessel. "You said you were human. We have never heard this word before. It is what we call ourselves," Du Hayan explained. "The name of our species. We are not energy beings or advanced machines, as your legends suggest. We are flesh and blood, just like all of you." Engineer J1 stepped forward, fascinated by the human's equipment. "Your technology is incredible, but it looks so old. How do you maintain it?" Du Hayan smiled sadly. "With great difficulty, we lost our original manufacturing capabilities when our homeworld died. Since then, we have made do with whatever we could find or trade for. Every piece of equipment you see has been repaired thousands of times." He gestured to his suit. "This environmental suit was built for my great-great-grandmother. The helmet came from a salvage yard on Proxima Station. The life support system was traded from the Centauri merchants in exchange for star charts. We are masters of making old things work because we have no choice." Captain Wujin found himself deeply moved by the human's story. "You have been wandering space for 50,000 years, keeping ancient equipment running." "Not wandering," Du Hayan corrected gently. "Watching, guarding. We have been living in the spaces between normal space, in pocket dimensions we created to hide from our enemy. From there, we could observe the galaxy without being detected." "But why hide?" asked Navigator Yunji. "You are clearly more advanced than any of our civilizations." Du Hayan's expression grew thoughtful. "We look at this ship, held together with salvaged parts. Look at my suit, older than some of your civilizations. We may have knowledge, but you have growth. You have built new things, discovered new ways of thinking. You have exceeded us in many ways." Dr. So-young leaned forward in her transmission. "The beacon network, you built it to communicate with us. We built it to guide you, to help when we could without revealing ourselves." Du Hayan explained. "Small suggestions in your development. Mathematical principles that appeared in your scientists' dreams. Navigation improvements that seemed like lucky discoveries. We tried to help our children grow without interfering too much." The word children hung in the air. Engineer J1 was the first to speak. "Children, you mean? We seeded this galaxy with life before we fled our dying world," Du Hayan said simply. "Not directly. We helped existing life evolve, gave it the tools it needed to grow and spread. Every species in the consortium carries genetic markers from our original world. You are all our descendants." In a sense, the crew exchanged amazed looks. The implications were staggering. They were meeting not just an ancient alien species, but their own cosmic ancestors. "The dead worlds marked by the beacons," Captain Wujin said slowly. "You were visiting them." Du Hayan's face filled with grief. "Our other children, civilizations that we could not save, that fell to wars or disasters or their own mistakes. We visit their graves, remember their achievements, mourn their passing. It is our duty as the first parents, and now you are revealing yourselves because," So-young prompted. The human's expression became grim. "Because the enemy that destroyed our homeworld has found us again. We call them the Void Swarm, creatures that consume entire star systems, leaving nothing but emptiness behind. They have been hunting us across the galaxy for 50 millennia." Fear rippled through the Seeker's crew. "Are they coming here?" "They are already on their way," Du Hayan confirmed. "Our sensors detect their approach from the galactic edge. They will be here within months, and when they arrive, they will try to consume everything, every world, every civilization, every trace of life." "What can we do?" Captain Wujin asked. Du Hayan looked directly at him with eyes that held both hope and desperation. "Fight with us. We have spent 50,000 years preparing weapons and strategies, but we cannot win alone. We need our children, all of our children, to stand together." Outside the ship, more human vessels emerged from whatever impossible dimensions had hidden them. The first contact was complete, but it was only the beginning of humanity's return to the galaxy they had never truly left. The full scale of humanity's return became clear over the following weeks. From hidden dimensions and forgotten corners of space, human ships emerged in numbers that defied belief. Captain Wujin watched from the bridge of Seeker as thousands of vessels materialized around them, each one bearing the scars of an impossible journey through time and space. Admiral Sujin stood on the command deck of the massive vessel Humanity's Promise, addressing the gathered representatives of 100 worlds. Her hair was completely white from centuries of cosmic radiation, but her voice carried the strength that had kept her people alive through their long exile. "We never wanted to be rulers," she explained to the alien delegates floating in environmental suits around her. We wanted to be gardeners. Every civilization that grew among the stars, every species that reached for the void, you were our children, our proudest achievement. Commander Hyanwu, who had first detected the beacon signals, felt his understanding of the galaxy shift completely. The guidance systems in our ships, the mathematical principles we use for faster-than-light travel, did you give us those? Chief, Engineer Young-Soo nodded. His cybernetic implants worry as he accessed data files older than most civilizations. Small gifts, planted carefully in your development. We helped where we could without revealing ourselves. A dream here, an inspiration there, a lucky discovery that saved your species from extinction. The assembled delegates murmured in amazement. Every major breakthrough in galactic civilization had been subtly guided by these ancient wanderers, watching from the shadows like cosmic parents. But this enemy you spoke of, said Dr. Minho, his ancient saurian voice, heavy with concern. Tell us what we face. The humans exchanged glances weighted with terrible memory. Captain Duhian stepped forward from the crowd of his people. His weathered face grim. They are called the Void Swarm. They are not alive as we understand life, but they consume everything living. They eat entire star systems, leaving only cold emptiness behind. How do they do this? Asked Dr. So-young, her tentacles writhing with anxiety. They turn stars into weapons, Admiral Sujin replied. They can make a sun explode or go cold. They can strip the life from a planet in hours. They destroyed Earth, our original homeworld, and scattered us across the galaxy like seeds in the wind. Young-Soo activated a holographic display, showing the edge of the galaxy. Our long-range sensors have detected them. They are coming from the void between galaxies, where they have been feeding on other star systems. They will reach our outer colonies within 3 months. The alien delegates felt fear ripple through their ranks. But Captain Woojin noticed something else. The humans were not just afraid. They were determined. You have been preparing for this fight for 50,000 years, he said. Every day of our exile, Admiral Sujin confirmed. We have built weapons that can wound them, strategies that can slow them, technologies that can protect our children. But we learned long ago that we cannot win this battle alone. As if summoned by her words, alarms began echoing through the combined fleet. On the long-range sensors, something vast and terrible was approaching from the galaxy's edge, a darkness that seemed to swallow light itself. They are here, Duhian said quietly. Earlier than we expected. The main display showed the approaching threat. It was not a fleet of ships, but something far worse, a living shadow that moved between stars, consuming everything in its path. Where it passed, entire solar systems simply vanished, leaving only empty space behind. All ships, prepare for battle, Admiral Sujin commanded. Then she turned to the alien delegates. This is your choice. You can flee to the far edges of the galaxy and hope they do not follow. Or you can stand with us and fight for the home we have all built together. The response came not from the official representatives, but from every ship in the combined fleet. Voices in 100 different languages all said the same thing. We will fight. Commander Hyanwu felt tears in his eyes as he realized the truth. The beacon network had not just been a communication system, it had been a promise that no matter how far humanity wandered into the darkness, they would always return when their family needed them. Across the galaxy, the ancient beacons blazed to life with unprecedented power. Each one carried the same message to every inhabited world. The Guardians have returned. Your parents are home. Stand together. Stand strong. The human fleet took position alongside their galactic children. Ancient ships powered by determination fighting beside modern vessels powered by hope. Admiral Sujin opened a channel to every ship in the armada. 50,000 years ago, we were forced to choose between saving ourselves and saving our children, she said. We chose our children. Today, we choose to stand with them. The Void Swarm approached like a cosmic hurricane, but for the first time since Earth's destruction, humanity was not alone. They had their family beside them, billions of descendants across thousands of worlds, all united in defense of the galaxy they called home. As the first battle began, the beacons sang with voices of every species in the galaxy. In the darkness, discovered that some lights cannot be extinguished, no matter how long they have been hidden in the void. The parents had come home, and they would not let their children face the darkness alone.